Hey everyone, how you doing? I thought I would make a video to explain what this thing is and how to upgrade it and where to upgrade everything. Hopefully most of it is self-explanatory, but I just wanted to go through the whole thing. Now what this is a starter base. At least that's how it begins its life. You can take a look at the specifications of it. It comes in at 2 hour and 5 minute build time, about 12,000 iron, a touch of cobalt, and everything else is, I mean, really, really easy to get. Hopefully this would be too. That's not too much. You might have to, like, find some boxes or something first, though. But it also unlocks at player level 7. So as you can see, it is a CV, and I'm also in Reforged Eden, by the way. It has no thrusters. It has no CV parts on it, so it's essentially a base. So you'd want to spawn it like right over as level of ground as you can find, and just kind of let it drop. And it seems to do just fine. I've never had it screw up and fall over or anything. I spawned it on rougher terrain than what you see here too, just to test it. What you get at that price is basically it's a player base, but an early one. So it has nothing in it over player level 7. So you got 4 small constructors, 1 large constructor, 4 320k storage bays, and 140k ammo bay. Then you actually have 2 food processors, 2 fridges, another setter upstairs, armor, locker, clone chamber, O2 station, shower. And you got 2 different O2 zones. There's one here, and then there's one in the second floor / going to the bridge. Now, to upgrade this, what this is capable of being is first a flying CV, and second, it can be a CV miner. And obviously putting in more constructors, deconstructors, and Reforged Eden can be some kind of production vehicle. Also, you can put in a full-size shield and a warp drive, and has a spot for a gravity generator. Pentaxa tank is right over here by the shield as well. Let's just grab some parts, and I'll start throwing a couple in just so you understand a couple things. With the medical section, how this is really intended is you upgrade this to a regular medical bay. This is basically to get it to full spec, and then you'd want to take these 2 larger parts and put them on the wall over here, and then the 2 smaller parts over here. And that's how that's intended to go together, with this being a med bay and not a clone chamber. Then over here you got a spot for a armor repair. That's listed. There's a LCD upstairs kind of saying what all these symbols mean. So also you have T1 slots. I called it that. I was familiar with that name. That is for generators. So basically all the parts over here are parts you can add to this. And you can, of course, put in a better warp drive and shield and things like that too as you go. But I'm just kind of running around placing some parts so you understand that. The thrusters are the biggest thing that might take a little bit more, so I'll get into that in just a second here. But basically, these are just intended to be placed in these locations here. 3 in the hangar. Now, when you first get this, it comes stock. If you look in the hall here, with a small generator, small fuel tank. There's another fuel tank, and there's a couple O2 tanks as well. These can be removed, though. Once you put in new stuff, you could replace that, put another generator in the front area. So, alright, so beyond that, upstairs here, you have a farm section. Basically, these are all carbon substrate blocks you're meant to remove, add in grow plots, and then right to the side here, you have a grow light. So that's pretty self-explanatory on that one. Okay, and obviously a warp core would go there, gravity generator there. Out on the front, you have locations to add 6 mining drills. So let me grab some of those a second. And of course, if you did this, you would want to replace one of the 4 cargo controllers to a harvest controller. Of course, you know, add enough generators to make sure that everything's powered up good as well, and CPU tier blocks. Has locations for all of those too. So how I've got these areas set up kind of in the vehicle is all these metal. These are actually railings, by the way, so they're really inexpensive. You need to remove these. Now you can add in smaller thrusters, but it is designed to add in large thrusters, and most of them, 10 of the 12 of them, are all angled versions. So you kind of want to just follow the contour of the ship. Like if I wanted to put a thruster here, I would want to do that angle, remove these blocks here. A little easier to do this in creative versus survival, but same idea. It should easily be doable. So basically you'd want to go around to all the thruster bays, and I got them all marked with arrows too, kind of trying to indicate what thruster goes where. You can clearly see like that bay over there would have thruster going this way, this one goes down, this one splits down and up, and then there's 2 full-size thrusters, or not the angled ones, the yeah, those ones that go in the back and fit into those locations there. Beyond that, you have turret positions. I intended actually, I had to kind of remove the actual physical position, but let me grab some turrets and tell you what I was intending is a turret would go back here, like maybe that location, or it could probably even slide out a block further. And the rest of them are clearly labeled as usual, except these back ones. Of course, these gratings get removed when you add the thruster, and then it would be kind of sitting on a thruster there. I mean, it's not super super tough ship. It is a steel hull ship with carbon substrate interior. All the thrusters, though, are sealed off from the inside of the ship. So whatever difference that would make, it's a little peace of mind at least. So beyond that, even fully upgraded with all the parts I showed you on here, the ship would need a basic core, 2 improved cores, which would go in those 2 locations there. Basic core is right here in the bridge, and also 2 advanced cores, and that is with mining and at least a tier 1 shield and warp drive. Obviously, and you really don't probably need as many generators. I guess you'd have to play with it. Everything is CPU based. Right now we are at not a lot of CPU yet, but I only added a couple of the thrusters in the package. So that's basically it, and I hope it all makes sense. The idea of it is you start using this as a base as soon as you can spawn it, and then you do all the stuff, and you upgrade this to be a flying ship, and then you upgrade it again, probably a little better thrusters. If you want to use it for CV mining, you can do that. And then at the end of its life, it is a Helios module. I'll just spawn in a little bit older version that is complete. So once you have it at this state, the CPU is right here. This is with 2 advanced CPU blocks in it. So obviously you can go a lot higher than that, and there is room to add in 5 advanced CPU core blocks over here. I've got 1 in this position, 1 in that position. There's 3 more here. In vanilla, you would just need 4 T4 core blocks that could just fit there, and this would be open slot. Also, it long-range radar. You could try to mount this somewhere else, but there is a location inside the hangar at this end of it. Hopefully, it doesn't get in the way too much. Hopefully, Most things should be lower. Also, repair bay location as well as the console location. Um, and more fuel tanks up in the ceiling here. You can dump some more regular fuel tanks, or you could remove these blocks and put in rows of bigger fuel tanks. That's kind of the idea. It's trying to play between how it looks and how much function can it have there. And I think that is pretty much the whole rundown on the ship. And I think it will hopefully do its job. Being a starter base, converting into a ship, and then oh yeah, let's go. And then eventually, if you go the route of a Helios compatible ship or Helios module compatible ship or base, you can also dock it to any one of the standard Helios bays. Don't mind my docking. I'm a little jittery here, but there we go. And that's how that's done, is you want to line up the crosshairs, and then you just kind of let off the gas once you get up to the wall like that, and you should be docked. And then you'll have this view from inside the Helios, and you'll be able to get right in the ship via this door here. This is where those generators were in this one. This was a little bit more incomplete version. And then one last thing, at the top of the elevator, it takes you to the landing deck that is on top of the vessel. Two other features: it has side doors. If you walk near these areas that will come down at the red arrows, which kind of run right across the hangar, going through there. For what it's worth, there's a couple areas you could add some cargo boxes or something back there too. Anyway, that pretty much sums it up for what this is about. Hopefully, any questions would get answered at its function and role and meaning, and it's a hybrid for sure. Meant to be a starter base, starter CV miner, then ultimately a module miner with production. And that is pretty much it. And with the turret positions, hopefully, and a shield, you could tangle with drones and things, adventures you might run into in space mining and whatnot. All right, well, thanks a lot, and see you later.